the first thing I remember when I opened the door, and I'm like, damn, okay. And I walk in, and who's in the middle, like talking and entertaining everybody? It was Helen. What's good, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Friends Like Mine. I'm Natalie.
I'm Helen.
Welcome back. How was your week?
That's good.
Yeah?
Busy. Work.
Work is, yeah. I'm so ready to be on vacation. I feel like we've been saying we're almost there for like,
3 more days.
I can't wait. I really genuinely cannot wait. I need it so bad. And I'm hoping it's good weather. I checked the forecast and it was looking a little bit worrisome. There was gonna be some rain, but it's like periods of rain. It's like Florida, right? So it'll rain. It's supposed to rain for like 30 minutes at 1 a.m. So I'm hoping that, it translates into a nice sunny day. Typically, that's how it goes. I can't wait to be on the beach
I don't
Saturday.
care what happens when I'm sleeping, as long as I have nice sunny weather.
Yeah,
So I'm awake.
yeah.
That's all I care.
You're gonna have to bring that forward a little bit, girlfriend. There we go. So yeah, I mean, we're ready. Sorry the episode's late, y'all. Shit happens. Really and truly, it was an unexpectedly busy weekend. Filled with good stuff. Friday night, I decided to do a little bit of like a kickback here at the house.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to play music and just keep practicing my DJing. Y'all know I'm on that like DJ journey, and so I felt like it was a good thing to have people over, hang out. We just did family, had the kids running around upstairs. We played music down here, and everybody kind of brought food or something to drink. It was just a nice time. And then Saturday, our family member, shout out Ivana, is getting ready to head out on a journey of sorts. And I don't know how much are we able to say. Like she's in the service, so she's heading out. Yeah, she's getting deployed. So God be with her. We're praying. We're sending her off with good wishes and good vibes. And she had a little bit of like a get together Saturday just to kind of say, send her off the right way. And so she was cool enough to let me come through, play some jams, and that was a good time. Vibes were nice. And yeah, and then yesterday you had kind of a girls' day, huh?
Yep. I got to go hang out with my sisters. We got our nails done. And then we went in the afternoon to a Mexican restaurant called Azul. And we celebrated one of our friends. Shout out to Sheila.
Good people.
Yeah, good people. It was her 35th birthday.
Hey, happy birthday, Sheila.
So, it was a nice time. Met a couple other women that are in my sister's friend group, and it was a nice time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always have fun with my sisters, but it was nice to, talk with the other ladies.
I feel like I kind of one week I'm gonna do an episode where I'm like behind the camera and I just let you and your sisters chat. That'd be interesting. I don't know if all of them would do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably the only one I don't know if she would be willing to do it would be Jocelyn.
Yeah, because I think Denise would do it.
Yeah.
And Chili's been on the show before.
Yeah.
So we'll figure that out. But the good news is you're getting the episode tonight. I mean, we're recording it tonight. I'm gonna do my best to edit it, and then we will have it tomorrow morning. I promise. For those of you who watch regularly, we appreciate the support.
We do.
We love that y'all are tuning in. We're getting a lot of new followers, so shout out to y'all. Appreciate it. A lot of cool things in the works, guys. There's a lot of cool things in the works. We just became brand ambassadors for a really cool brand with a purpose that I like a lot. My gear's coming in soon. Our gear is coming in soon, but I'm going to shout it out anyways, and I'm going to be adding the link to our link tree. It's called Ni Modo. So it's a Latino-owned brand, and they kind of celebrate faith, right? But in a very, like, no judgment kind of way. It is streetwear. It is fire stuff. I got myself En Las Manos de Dios hoodie. Y'all will see it on me real soon. Helen got one that says Con Dios. That's beautiful. And they make t-shirts, hoodies, workout gear, shorts, tanks, hats, socks. They make clothes for kids. And if you hit the link in the Friends Like Mine bio or on the link tree. You can get 20% off your purchase by using code FLM. So again, we'll be showing y'all some of that stuff real soon. We're showcasing it on the way. They're cooking it up for us right as we speak. And I'm really excited about that partnership because, again, it blends two things that I really love, which is dope streetwear, and it has a positive message, right? And it's a Latino-owned brand. You can't beat that. So we're really happy about that. Speaking of Latinos, big weekend in music.
Yeah.
Um,
Coachella.
Coachella weekend. I have never been, but I would like to go.
Yeah.
Although I don't know. You know what?
I'm too
No,
old for that.
I'm gonna take that back. I'm on the boat with you. I think 10 years ago I would have really liked to go. I think if I go now, it's hard because I'm not willing to rough it like a lot of these younger kids are. I'm not camping in my car in the fucking desert. I need air conditioning. I need climate control. I don't know. I don't want to have to like fight a crowd to get to shit. And I don't realistically have the money that I would need to spend to be like a super VIP. But I love that for them. And there are people who go religiously every year, have a great time. And so if you keep going back, it's gotta be cool. And I say a big weekend for Latinos because we had Karol G, the first Latina headliner,
Mm-hmm.
for Coachella. And I never really understand the structure of Coachella because like they had, I think it was Sabrina Carpenter, Justin Bieber, and Karol G. I don't know if each of them headlined a different day, thus making them all headliners, or if they're co-headliners, because you got a lot of different acts. It's like it's 3 days or 4 days or over the course of one weekend, and then there's like a week in between, and then there's weekend 2. And it's the same performers both weekends, if I'm not mistaken. But my question becomes like, who's actually the headliner? So this year's big headliner was Justin Bieber, but Karol G had her moment. And she also did, in conjunction with that, she rolled out a lot of interesting stuff. I saw an ad for her for Google. She's doing Google Gemini ads now, which I
Oh,
love.
Jesus.
I love Google Gemini. Shout out to Google Gemini.
That's
It's
a
actually
fancy
really
accent.
interesting the way they worked it up. So they basically did it in like a sense where she's getting ready to do a show,
Mm-hmm.
a Coachella, and so she's talking to Google Gemini about how to plan like her outfit for the show and how she can incorporate certain looks, and it's going through that. And so I really like that. She also did Call Her Daddy. We were listening to that today.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I love Karol G. Let me put this out there. We love Karol G. We've been to see her in concert
Spanish.
twice. I didn't love the interview because I don't think I'm the opposite. I felt like the opportunity would have been better served to a Latina podcaster, a Latino podcaster, for a variety of reasons, because I think that the depth of questions or like the knowledge base would have been different. And I was having this conversation with Helen in the car when we were listening to it today. Because like at one point, Alex Earl, is it Alex Earl or Alex Cooper? Alex, the host of Call Her Daddy, asked her a very interesting question. So she's just kind of like, what do you do when you have a heartbreak? How do you respond like when an ex tries to get you back? And I was like, I hear where you're going. And maybe some of it was that Karol G's people gave her like, they approved questions, I'm sure. So they probably had something to do with it. But I feel like had it been me, the question would have been, Anuel tried to very publicly reconcile with you. And he went about it in a way that most people would say was scandalous, right? He made a couple songs. He very publicly called you out. And more specifically, he went the avenue of targeting your relationship with Fade, wearing t-shirts with Fade on them, doing all that stuff. How do you respond when an ex who very publicly hurt you is now very publicly trying to get back with you, but isn't necessarily taking accountability in a way that makes sense, right? That's what I would have asked. And I think it's just, it was a very surface level interview. Like it was like two girls who had never met Kiki, and which is kind of what a podcast is to a degree. But I just feel like the depth of questions could have been better. Now, again, I love Karol G. We've seen her in concert twice. The first time was a little bit interesting. Do you remember that? It was Helen's birthday weekend the last time we went, and the first time we went rather. And our seats were so high up. It was kind of scary to be sitting that high. And so I feel like part of it was being scared to fall.
Yeah.
And then part of it was also just having a drink or two or maybe a few more.
I don't remember.
It was a good night. It was a good night. But the second time we saw her was really good.
Yeah, it was nice. I had fun.
Yeah? What was your favorite part about the second one?
I think the set. The vibes were good.
Yeah. We had really good seats.
We had good seats, yeah. But the vibe was good. Like the people actually, enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And I think her set was great. And it was really nice just being able to see her like, up close. Um and of course the songs that she sang were really nice. I like that album.
Yeah, Mañana Será Bonito is probably my well, Bichota Season. Mañana Será Bonito Bichota Season is probably my favorite Karol G album. Admittedly, Tropicoqueta was not my thing. It's not a bad album. I understand the purpose behind it. It just wasn't for me specifically. I did like the Dembow song that's on there. I think it's called Un Gatito Me Llamo. And Latina Forever was a vibe, but outside of that, I just it wasn't for me. It has been fairly successful. I definitely think that it was a different wave than Mañana Será Bonito. Like that was a movement. Tropico Queta was a nice follow up. I think that it was a decent in between album. I think whatever's coming next is probably going to be really big again.
Hmm.
I hope it is. And I mean, certainly Coachella is the way to kick it off. Do you think she's going to? Because I feel like everybody who does Coachella capitalizes and uses that like wave to announce something big. What do you think the next big thing is for Karol G?
I would hope a new album.
You think a new album,
Yeah.
not a tour?
Because I think she needs to put a new album with new music before we go on to a tour. So
So
I'm
you
not really feeling Tropico Queta at all.
really?
I
Yeah.
didn't like
See.
any of the songs.
Hmm. Okay. Mm, yeah. What are you hoping for in terms of sound if she does put out a new album? What's the vibe?
I mean, I think some of the like I like the I want to say like the merengue. She did well in that.
Okay.
Um, I think she does good with like reggaeton. I think she has some good, songs. Um, some pop songs.
So yeah. I thought Karol G's performance was cool. I liked her set. She had like a desert cave sort of situation happening. So really leaning into like the Coachella vibe, I guess. She brought out Becky G.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was interesting because there was a story running around the news last week where Karol G, I don't know if it was on Call Her Daddy because I didn't finish, in all transparency, I didn't finish the episode, but she had made a comment or a comment was attributed to her saying that a lot of people were saying like, hey, why haven't you spoken out about immigration or about ICE or about this or that? Like, does that mean you don't care? And she was like, no, I care very much, but it's been said to me in not so many ways that if I talk about this, I run the risk of getting my visa revoked and like I may not be able to perform. And so she was like, I have to balance like using my voice with being able to continue to do the work I want to do. And I get that. I genuinely do. I think that a lot of pressure gets put on certain artists to have an opinion or say something. And I think that when you do that, you kind of force them into a space of saying something right away that isn't necessarily well thought out. And that isn't always a good thing, right? Look at Romeo Santos. Romeo Santos went on a podcast and said some dumb shit, basically like it's not my problem, so it doesn't affect me. And Prince Royce kind of was right there with him and basically sort of said the same thing. And they spent weeks trying to clear it up, right? Now they're going to have to backtrack and double over what they say. Whereas I think that like Karol G was like, I want to say something. I can't say what I would love to say, but like people should know where I stand type thing. And she did come out at the end of her performance and say, she kind of gave a speech and she was like, we don't create the art we create. The way I took it was we don't create the art we create for the sake of gatekeeping. We create it because we want to share our beautiful culture with everybody, but like people need to embrace our culture too, and they need to know like we came here to work and show the best of who we are. And then Becky G said something during the performance. I don't know exactly what it was. I saw you watching clips earlier. Did you catch what she said or?
I just watched the performance.
Yeah? What'd you think of it?
It was good. I mean, they're always good together.
I love Becky G and Karol G
Yeah.
together. I know we talked about Becky G last week on the podcast. Some people were like, interesting take. Again, people have had some interesting takes about Karol G this week too. Like, people are not, they're not feeling her. Some people said that like her breaking up with Faye to pursue her career was her selling out, which I think is crazy because if a man does it, it's fine.
Yeah. I think that's stupid. I mean, she should be able to just focus on her if that's what she wants to do.
Absolutely. I mean,
And
historically,
she kind of said it in her interview with that girl. I forget the name of the podcast. Call her daddy or whatever.
Yep, that one.
That she just wanted to focus on herself. She said something about realizing like relationships are not for her. And she's just gonna keep doing or making the same mistake.
Wow. That's very introspective.
I mean, if you know that about yourself and you're just not ready for it, like why are you gonna drag, others, and why are you
No,
gonna
that's
drag yourself
valid.
into it? So
That's valid. Justin Bieber, I'm not gonna say too much. I'm not gonna say I'm like a huge believer. Haven't been following his career from the very beginning because I think that would be a lie. I like Justin Bieber's music, but like when he leans into that R&B, he's got the skill set. He's got a great ear for music. A lot of people are divided on his performance. He came out, pulled up a fucking MacBook, sat down, and just started scrolling through YouTube and basically karaokeing to his own songs. I personally think that was a genius move on his part because it was stripped down. It was him. There were minimal. It was a minimal presentation in the sense that like he didn't go all out with sets and a band and all this crazy shit. That allowed him to be comfortable. I personally think that if Justin Bieber went on tour and used that same format and did a tour, he'd sell out worldwide. Why? Because it lets him be comfortable and like not succumb to the pressures that I think have burdened him in the past, while also giving him the opportunity to connect with his fans in a different way and sort of just showcase life and music and what he likes to do. So shout out to Justin Bieber. I think it was genius. I think if he took that on the road, I'd go see that concert because it's a vibe. It's not the expectation of he's got to put on this big ass show. I think that's with all the dancers and the band and everything has to be perfect. I don't know. I like that for him.
yeah. I mean, I didn't see all of it. I thought bits and pieces. I saw the intro, which is
Yeah.
nice. I like him. I think he's just kind of misunderstood. I think he's very inspirational. I don't really have much to say about him, but he was good. I have to go back and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch all of it.
So we just got done watching episode 3 of Real Housewives of Rhode Island. It's really popular on the internet. I don't know if you've seen any of the discourse on TikTok or anywhere else, but what's up? It's picking up a lot of steam. I have some interesting observations. The thing that's like stuck with me is, so if you're watching it, you know that I think it's Rulla is her name. And these are real people who live very nearby, so whatever, don't shoot the messenger. But Rulla and her husband, their kind of storyline right now is that her husband cheated and he got caught in some pictures. They circulated. And someone among the group circulated the pictures or had the pictures or whatever. Joellen. So it's become like a topic of conversation. I'm wondering, maybe I lost the plot, like, because I did doze off for like a second in episode 2. So that's what I was trying to figure out is how Joellen plays into this story because
she found the pictures.
And she circulated them.
She didn't circulate them. She showed them to
Rulla?
No, not Rulla. She showed them to
Liz.
And then Liz is the one that told her to send them to
Rulla.
Rulla. And then so Joellen sent it to Rulla, and then Rulla was trying to say that it wasn't true, but I mean, her husband himself confirmed it.
Yeah.
And she just kind of like got mad because then after people started finding out. But I mean, if your husband's grimy and he's out here doing his dirt, like,
But he
you live
didn't
in
give a
Rhode
fuck.
Island.
Yeah, it's a small place.
It's a small place. Granted, I don't know, any of them. Even if I was to see him out in the street, I wouldn't know who they are, and I'm sure they wouldn't know who I am either. But still, like,
We
they
very
know.
recently met somebody who does know them. I'll keep it limited to that.
Yeah.
That was interesting because,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
But I mean, at the end of the day, if you're in that type of, circle, things are gonna get around. And I mean, think about it, like, really,
That's a really small circle of friends.
I mean, well, yeah.
It's a specific group of people. There are people who are ultra wealthy in Rhode Island in a very specific subset, right? You really can't hang with people outside of that group. You can't hang with people who don't know that group in some way. Like I've seen they've had a party every fucking episode, it seems, which is kind of what Real Housewives is like, right? It centers around an event and who's going to come to the event and who's not and who's going to wear what and whatever. It's messy. It's supposed to be. That's how you get viewers up. And I will say they are definitely keeping people entertained. However, you cannot get mad if your partner, I won't even say your man, if your partner is out here cheating so much that they don't give a damn if they get caught. They're taking pictures with the side chick, hugged up at a restaurant, sitting on the lap, and the side chick, I think she posted them. That's how they came up. Like, that's a big problem, right? That's not that you can't really be mad at somebody because it's public or because they're circulating the information or because they bring that information to light. It was already out there. And I think they even said on the episode, they were like, it was like the worst kept secret in all of Rhode Island. So I think that like what stuck out to me was this episode, between last episode and this episode, Joellen finds out that they're trying to get her fired.
They're not trying. Her husband, Rulla's husband, called her job
And then sent an email. Filed a complaint.
Not trying. He wanted her to get fired.
And if I got the names mixed up, if it's not Joellen, forgive me, but it is Joellen. He's trying to get her fired, and Joellen's like, I found out from my boss and like 30 other people at my job. Like, HR told my boss told me. Another guy found out, and he went to HR, and HR told, he told me too. I'm going to say this right now. You got beef, handle your beef outside of that. Like, if you're trying to fuck up somebody's livelihood simply because there's gossip and you don't like the discourse surrounding it.
It's not gossip if you're doing it.
He's trying to save face, because I can only imagine that every day when they get home and the cameras are off and it's just the two of them, Rulla is giving that man hell. She is making that man pay. There's not a moment of his day where she's not reminding him about the shit that he did.
I mean, maybe
And
not.
it's out there. No, it's out there. And they had some other stuff going on. They were in the news for some other drama. So if your shit's out there and it's messy, don't try and go and get other people caught up or hurt or harm them because you don't like that. Like, it's different. If somebody's out here doing, like, if you work with the public and you're making openly racist remarks, right? Or you're discriminating, or you're actively showing people that, like, you're doing stuff to harm the public in the space of the service that you provide, by all means, your job is fair game. You're mad because you cheated, you got sloppy. It was probably not a smart choice for you to get a divorce, or you know that you're in hot water with your wife, and now your wife's up your ass about it. Because first of all, the trust is broken, and she very clearly is trying to play PR, because in every episode that it's come up, she's been like, we're past it. He's not doing anything. I know he's not doing anything. And even Liz was like, but can you be sure?
I'm gonna need to shut up.
So this is another one. Her shit's in court. She hasn't had to testify, but they like.
She's getting it on with Dino.
Allegedly. I don't want no loss. Don't try and get me fired, bitches.
Listen, if you putting your business out there and you're getting paid to put your business out there, it's gonna become my business.
We're talking
so if you have a problem with it,
come to the podcast. Y'all are close enough. Rulla lives in Lincoln, which is a very nice area, a very exclusive area of Rhode Island. Girl. I saw her say that and I was like, what did she just say? Lincoln's nice. I don't think that it's ultra exclusive. We could have lived in Lincoln.
If you were living in Newport,
Not even like Watch Hill. If your neighbors with like T Swift and shit,
then we talking. But Lincoln,
I live in I live in Lincoln. It's a very high end area.
Cranston.
Girl!
Many people who live in Cranston.
We almost lived in both the areas that they lived in, and we are by no means wealthy people. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. You know, but yeah, I was like laughing because then Liz throws a party for her man. And I'm going to just say it. Joella's husband is a G. Dude got my respect because he found out Joellen went to him and was like.
She also promised him to give him some.
She said she was going to give him
some wop.
A little bit of cookie.
Some wop if
he handled business.
He handled business.
And Buddy did not disappoint. He sat him down at the table like a man. And he was like, what's this business y'all are trying to get my wife fired from her job? Cut straight to the chase. And Rhett did Rilla's husband do?
Pussy ass.
Bro punked out so hard. You're never going to tell me he didn't. I don't care. That's going to live on a TV forever as the greatest bitch out of all time. Because as soon as they put the screws to homeboy, he was like, I'm not having this conversation here. He tried to make it seem like he was too dignified. Nah, you was scared. His buddy sat you down, looked you in the face and was like, what you're not going to do is try to get my wife fired from her job because we've got kids to feed and she's got to put food on the table. Straight up. That's almost a direct quote. So please, 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 please spare me the dignified, I'm not doing this here bullshit. You were scared. And that's cool. But at the same time, like if you're not going to walk the walk, don't talk the talk. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't. And Joellen was hype. After everything was said and done, they're back outside talking. She was like, he's getting laid tonight. I was like, yeah, boy. I know she took him for the ride of his life. Yeah, I fucks with Joellen.
I mean, people might not like her because she's very, like, from what I've seen. And I mean, I could be very well wrong, but from the 3 episodes that I've seen so far, she's very direct. She's just very, like, I don't give a shit.
Maybe we can find
and on top of that, like I feel like the times that people come up to her and try to like call her out on shit, she's just been like, yeah, I said that.
Joellen keeps it a buck and I like it. I'm a manifested. They've probably already become too famous, but I would like to have Joellen on the show too. I think that she keeps it real. We could get that inside scoop. She keeps it a buck. Not a big fan of Rulla. Again, I understand what she's trying to do.
Alicia.
Liz is funny to me, and Liz keeps it real too.
Oh, which is the other one that with the 2 boyfriends?
Oh, Kelsey.
Oh, Kelsey. I kind of like her. She's cool. I mean,
you know, Kelsey's also keeping it a buck.
She is. I mean, she got her little boo thing who give her money, and then she got her little boo thing that dick her down. I mean, why not? He got it. He got his little side chick.
They are not side chick.
I mean,
she's not a side chick. She knows. That's crazy because this episode she was very much like my parents.
Shout out to Billy.
No. Yeah, Billy.
Billy the goat.
Billy. She said in this episode, she's like, my parents know my situation. It's like the worst kept secret in Rhode Island. I find it funny that they're trying to blur out her boyfriend's face so that everybody knows his, I'm not going to say the name, but everybody knows his homeboy, the judge's son. I knew they had money. I didn't know they had bread like that. But I also recently found out like he made some sort of investment early on in some company and got shares. And when that company sold, he made buck. But I saw a like outside shot of her house. It was like 3 houses smashed together. It's fucking
that's
enormous.
why Billy said, I'll take you to my
much smaller
house. Probably an apartment.
Maybe. I think she did say condo. She also asked him if his mom packed her his lunch for the day. So I don't know if he lives at home, but
hey, you know what?
It's cool. It's cool. No, she said he's very successful. I'm gonna imagine
successful enough for her to stop working though. That was the biggest thing.
But she doesn't work now.
Well, that's why she don't want to be with Billy because then that means that she's gonna have to work, and she's not ready to work. It's not that she doesn't want to, or that she can't.
She used to be on the news.
It's not that she can't.
She doesn't want to.
No, that wasn't the one on the news.
Oh,
no, that's
Rosie.
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 Road tripping Rosie.
I don't know. I think Rosie is just an instigator.
Ooh, yeah.
She plays her little
yeah, she's stirring the pot.
Yeah,
But there has to be one in every single show.
They're doing a good job with the acting.
Yeah.
They're
You know what? It's entertaining.
It's
I
entertaining.
didn't think that I would be entertained, but I was. We've seen some more local spots highlighted on the show. They were at Bum Cafe. Yeah, I've never been there, but I've seen it. And Trattoria Romana, which I don't think that was the Johnston location.
I don't know.
Definitely wasn't the
We've been
Johnston
there.
location. We've been to the one in Johnston. It's
Yeah,
good.
it's
Good food.
It's good, really good.
I've been there a couple times. There, I mean, in a land of overwhelmingly popular and delicious and pretty well made Italian food.
I think Rhode Island is really good.
You're not gonna miss often. There's a lot of great Italian places. I'm curious to see where they go next. I kind of want to go try the other girls' coffee shop, Andrea's, I think it's called, or something. They're trying to make that business work. I want to go support their business.
Alicia's husband?
No, not Alicia. Alicia has a pizza shop.
Oh yeah, that mama.
Pizza Mama. They own a couple pizza shops. That was some other shit. She was talking to Liz in this episode. And so her and her man, they've been together for a long time. They've been engaged for 9 years. Their daughter's 8, so they've been engaged about 9 years. Did you hear what she said? He brought her a prenup. And she took it to her attorney to get it checked out before she signed it, because that's like the whole thing. And her attorney was like, do not sign this. He's not leaving you anything. Not a single penny. You guys split up, you get nothing. And she says, we've been together 9 years. He won't put her name on the deed to the house. And she straight up was like, I wanted to be a stay-at-home, wife, I guess girlfriend. She was like, but I didn't think it would be like this. And then she was like, I hate when I have to ask him for money because it's such a power trip. And she was telling Liz, like, I'm looking for something to do. Meanwhile, Liz is in her confessional basically saying, like, yeah, that couldn't be me. Jerry and I go 50-50 on everything. And they are, they own the dispensary. I know they're good and high all the time. They own Slater.
Oh, okay.
Slater dispensary. That's over here in Providence. That's a big business to be in. They're chilling. So, yeah, Liz was like, we go 50-50 on everything. And I mean, yeah, but Liz's business was out there. I was reading a news article this week. Dino is in federal court for a case. He's got a case on him.
What kind of case?
It's like embezzlement or some shit like that. Some RICO shit.
This shit is like, I feel like, okay, they're so wealthy, but then it's always like money laundering, fucking drugs.
It's some shit. It might be drugs. It's some kind of federal case. It could be drugs. Actually, I think it is drugs. And part of the evidence is they pulled up all the money that Liz has sent him.
Oh, Lord, Liz.
So they're like, yeah, that's her side piece. She has not been called to testify. She's not on the witness list or anything like that.
And you can't because you're not married to the man, so you're gonna have to testify, girl.
She's married to Jerry, yeah.
Yeah, you're not married to Dino.
So, well, but in what capacity? Because she's not like a co-conspirator, right? So that's the only thing that I don't even know. I have to find out more about Dino's case, the mysterious Dino. But it's interesting. Yeah, I am enjoying Real Housewives of Rhode Island. We're having a good time with that.
I think it's funny, some of the scenes.
It's very
some of the shoots that they have of like
the exterior scenes of Providence.
I'm like,
Providence is a pretty city. We've said this before.
Yeah, but they try and make it look so like.
I love that they have this one shot of the water downtown with like boats and shit in it. Where they do like the water. Like, I'm curious to see if they have an episode where they're at like Waterfire.
That's cute.
They're at Waterfire with the common folk.
You do what you can with what you got. So.
Listen, again, I love it. Shout out to our very, very good friend. I don't think we've mentioned him on the show.
Who?
Martise.
Oh.
He just texted me before we sat down to watch it. He was like, thanks to you. So I guess he's been watching the podcast. So I'll be curious to hear his thoughts once we once we finish recording because he'll probably be caught up by then. But yeah, I'm gonna keep watching it. I'm gonna keep bringing y'all what I can, my thoughts. Don't expect like a thorough deep dive because I so much to keep track of, but there was a lot of interesting happenings this week, and they're really starting to develop as a
And I really
cast.
feel like those are gonna be the three main characters:
Who?
Rulla, Joellen,
Joellen.
and Liz.
I feel like Alicia's fallen back to the back a little bit, but I feel like the story's gonna be. There was a clip of her when they did their intro
Mm-hmm.
because I had never seen the opening credits. You know, they have a name and then they have like a tagline. I forget. All I can think of is Candy's from early Real House of Wives of Atlanta, where she does that really like she hits that random ass note while she's singing. There was a scene of Alicia standing in front of the pizza shop at night with a bunch of photographers holding up a bunch of boxes of pizza. It looked like a photo shoot or an event. I can't.
Oh, I thought she was gonna start delivering.
Sorry, y'all. I'm recovering from a nasty cold that happened in between last week's episode and today. Um, so, I'm wondering if they did some sort of event at Pizza Mama. Again, no dig at Cranston. Cranston's nice. When we were looking for houses, we looked at Cranston a lot. Great school system. But
Depends where.
where Pizza Mama is located, I can't imagine them doing like some big fancy ass event. And that's what it looked like, which is crazy to me because like whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway. Something that I find exciting happened this week. I'm gonna let you tell the story. We got our first little bit of like listener feedback.
Oh yeah, our friend.
Yeah. Shout out.
Well, my friend.
Shout out Helen's friend. I mean, she could be my
Sherry.
friend too. Hey, Sherry.
She's in California.
Hey.
So out to Sherry. Thank you for listening. And thank you for the feedback.
She asked a couple questions too, right?
She did. So she said that she wanted to know how Natalie and I met.
Mm.
So I'll let Natalie start.
Oh, well, before we do that, just like a small piece of feedback that's gonna not feedback, history that's gonna become important. Helen and I have talked about our exes in the past.
Anyway, I know Sherry from Hawaii. So when I moved to Hawaii, she was one of the first few people that I met. She was my neighbor. Her then ex-husband was also in the military.
Your ex was in the military.
My ex was in the military. They were both stationed at Hickam Air Force Base, and I was pretty much alone because when I moved to Hawaii, my ex had moved to Iceland.
Hmm.
Yeah, he moved to Iceland, and I had stayed behind, but I moved to Hawaii while he was over there. So I was pretty much alone, and I met Sherry, and we just kind of hit it off.
I love that.
We started hanging out. She then had her son, Tate, who he is now like 20 something years old. But he was a few years old. I think he was like maybe two, 3. Because he is the same age as my niece, Jaja. So then when my sister came to live with me and my niece, we all kind of like just hung out, and Tate and Jaja became really good friends, and we would just go out. We would go out to the club, go dancing. We went to see a couple of concerts.
That's
We
dope.
used to love singing.
Very
Our
cool.
favorite song was Ignition by R. Kelly.
Not going on this week's playlist.
That's fine. I don't want it. But it was fun. So that's how I met her. And over the course of the years, I moved away. And we just stayed in touch. We don't talk often, but we do talk every now and then. But she's been listening. She's been in
Thank you.
So thank you. She's been listening. She asked, I asked what she wanted to kind of like hear, what she wanted to, know more about. And she mentioned a couple of things. So she would like to know how Natalie and I met, like I said before. She also
Well, let's start there.
wanted. Okay, so there we go.
Sorry, we'll start there, and I want to leave the rest to be a surprise, so
Okay.
we can actually get into that. So the short answer is that Helen and I met at work. I've never lived in Hawaii, so after Hawaii, Helen and her ex-husband were stationed in Florida. Um, and at the time, I worked for Metro PCS, and I was like a floor supervisor, it's like almost an assistant manager, like one beneath an assistant manager, key holder, as you will. And I knew we were in the process of hiring a part timer, but I must have been off the day that they interviewed Helen and didn't know that we had picked somebody. But I was at work one day and I got a call from my manager. Shout out to Ralph. I don't know if he watches or not, but I'm gonna send him this clip. Shout out to Ralph. And he said, he said, "Hey, the new girl's coming by, the new hire, to drop off her background check paperwork." Now, if you work for Metro PCS back in the 2010s, 2000s, 2010s, I don't know if it's still this way, but they had, for a company that didn't require you to even have a fucking ID to get started or any of that, they had a very strenuous background check. I remember when I first started, it took me almost 2 months to actually start working because of how long it took to do the background check. And so he was like, "She's coming by to bring her background check paper." It was like, "Oh, I didn't even know we had somebody." Cool. Left it at that. Um, and if you know anything about Metro's demographics back then, things have changed. We got a very interesting mix of people, especially in the area we were at, the store we were at. It was just an interesting mix of people, and typically not people who would come in dressed in like business attire. Like we had a girl come to interview once. I'll never forget this shit. Came to the job interview in like bicycle, like spandex workout shorts, sneakers, a sports bra, and then she had her baby with her in a stroller. So she showed up to the job interview. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I think Ralph conducted that interview in like the lobby because it was an automatic, like, what are you doing? Like, you got to know better. So I was at work. I was busy that day. It was busy that day, but I was by myself and I was working. It wasn't busy in the store, but I was working on stuff I needed to work on. I was doing like inventory or some shit. And I hear heels. And in comes this girl, and she's in a pencil skirt, a blazer, like a nice cami, hair done, makeup flawless. Oh, you could smell the perfume when like she opened the door. And I look up, and there is Helen. And I'll let you take it from here.
I said hello, and
The camera's over there.
I went up to Natalie and I told her that I was, there to bring some paperwork, and I shook her hand, and that was kind of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I can't tell you what I remember and what I don't. All I know, it was just uh crazy how I felt. Um,
Mind you, we never met.
I had never met Natalie. I had never talked to Natalie. And it was just really crazy because, I walked out of there. I remember giving her the paperwork, and I walked out of there and I
We
was
shook
just
hands.
we did, briefly. It wasn't even long either. And I just remember thinking like, what the fuck was that?
I said 2 words. She looked at it, I said, "Helen, right?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm Natalie. I'll be one of your supervisors," I think I said. "I'm one of the managers here," something like that. And very daintily, in her true Helen style, she gave me one of these. Like, it wasn't like a
Well, I mean, I wasn't a
she's
dude, so I
such a
couldn't have.
lady. So she stuck her hand out, and I shook her hand. I remember shaking her hand, I was like, "Hmm." And she's beautiful, obviously. She's very beautiful. So I was just like, "Hmm," but mind you, she's married. I was in a very long-term relationship, and it was weird, right? I think we can equally agree to that. And I didn't see Helen again, like I said, for maybe a month. I got a call from Ralph yet again, and he was like, "Hey," I was driving home from work one night. I can remember it. And he was like, "Hey, remember we have that HR training, that sexual harassment training, and it has to be done with everybody while the store is closed. So the only time they can do it is at like 6:30 a.m." It was a Thursday. I remember that much. It was
Wasn't it
6 a.m.
Friday?
No.
Hmm.
I met you started working the week of your birthday, but the harassment training, maybe it was a Tuesday, actually. It might have been a Tuesday, but either way, he was like, "The training is happening, and can you send a text and just remind such and such and such and such?" And I was like, "Cool." Yeah. And I remember seeing him, I was like, "I can let Helen know if you want." I was like, I can text her." And he was like, "No, she has a Hawaii number, so you can't text her, or yeah, I couldn't text you.
I don't know.
And I
She
could
couldn't
text you, I couldn't
contact
call
me.
you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, cool." He had a Verizon phone at the time, so with Metro couldn't call Hawaii numbers. And I was like, "Oh, all right, cool." And in my head, I was like, "Why the fuck am I volunteering to text this new girl? Like, what the hell's wrong with me?" And I remember telling Matt, my boy Matt used to work there. Shout out to Matt. Boy Matt used to work there, and I remember telling him, like, "Damn, the new chick's kind of hot." Shit you say. And anyways, those 2 days pass, and the morning of that training, so what happened is I had bought a new car in that time frame. And the morning of the training, I'd had that car maybe a week, maybe 2. I was still figuring out how to drive a stick shift. And it was a dope little car. It was my first, like, new-ish car, you know, big deal. It was a really big deal to buy it, and the morning of the training, my apartment was a hot fucking mess, and I could not find the keys. And I remember being pissed because I had said to my ex, I'm like, why is it such a mess?" And I ended up having to take my old car to work, which was like a fucking spaceship. I used to drive a Pontiac Aztec with no seats in the back. And if you know me from back then, y'all know that car. Blue. People used to joke because they'd like roll around in the back while we were driving. Like, it was just fun. I had to drive that. And so when I walked in, I was very flustered. It was also my day off, so I was annoyed that on my day off, I was at work at 6:30 in the morning to do a training. And I walked in, and everybody is standing around in a circle laughing. This is the first thing I remember when I opened the door, and I'm like, "Damn, okay." And I walk in, and who's in the middle, like, talking and entertaining everybody? It was Helen. She had on a button-up.
I don't remember what
She had on a
happened.
brown button-up. I remember that. And, in her heels again. Helen was Helen could be going to the grocery store, and she was gonna be in heels back then. And I walk in, and everybody's laughing, everybody's smiling, joking, standing around, and I'm like, "Wow, she fits right in." We had a very interesting group of people. We had a good time back then.
Yeah, it's fine.
Honestly, it was just some great days. Um, and she was like, "Hey," and I just remember like, "Hey," and then immediately, may God rest her soul, I miss her and love her so much, Kim Burney, my very good friend Kim Burney, was like a mom to all of us and very Southern. She was like, "What's wrong, Puddin'?" And I was like, "Oh, and I was like bitching and moaning and just in a bad mood because like I couldn't find my keys. The apartment's a mess. Like I was just frustrated about a lot of things. And I was like, "Ugh, whatever." And she was like, "It's going to be all right." Like she's very soothing. She was like, "Oh, darling, don't you worry about that." Just, I loved her. Loved her. May she rest in peace. We lost her a few years ago. But so I was just like, I sit down to do this training, and Helen's at the station next to me, and we each had computers at our desks. They start to do the damn training, and my computer just ate shit. It like, it did the weirdest thing. My computer didn't just freeze, it like froze and then restarted and then shut off. And then like, it was no saving it at that time. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is the last damn thing I need." And Helen looks over at me and she's like, "You can sit with me. I don't bite." And I was like, "Okay." Mind you, it's a sexual
Mm.
harassment training. So,
I wasn't sexually harassing her. I was telling her how I didn't bite.
She does bite. Um,
You piss me off.
So I sat next to her, and again, it was the strangest thing because we get around each other. We didn't know each other at all, and it was just cool. Training finished, and I took off. I had plans with Matt, my boy Matt, that day, and I was like, "Yeah, all right, let's go." I forget what we're gonna go do, but I left, and Helen started working that next week. One thing I do remember, I'm gonna say, I won't say her ex's name, but he does not. The best way to describe this, if you know what his name is, you'll laugh at this, is so that day when we were talking, it came out somehow. I was like, "Oh, you have Hawaii plates. Are you Hawaiian?" I couldn't tell. I didn't know what a Guatemalan was. I couldn't pinpoint where she was from. Clearly, I knew she was from somewhere else or she had some background. I didn't know her last name at the time. So I was just like, "Oh, you from Hawaii?" And she was like, "Oh, well, no, we just moved there. My husband's in the military. We were stationed there." And then she tells me I was like, "Oh, what's his name?" She tells me his name. My head, I'm picturing like Trey Songz, Michael B. Jordan type dude. I just thought she's a pretty girl. I'm picturing a dude who's flinging her around the house, like in the best way possible, putting her through the mattress. Sure, I'm like in my head, I was like, "Oh, well, that's that." He was not what I pictured at all. At all. I was way off. Nonetheless,
She was
you
like
also found out I had a girlfriend that day.
she was like 3 feet off.
Ethnicity was off, all of that. That's the day you found out I had a girlfriend too. But I figured like you knew I was gay before I told you I was gay.
Well, I mean, obviously.
I did not have short hair back then.
Still, you didn't.
I
You
didn't give
weren't
femme queen.
them. Yeah, you were not. No, obviously, I knew you were.
I think I wore a hat that day. I had on like a backwards hat and a t-shirt and jeans. I'm very dressed like I am right now, probably.
I don't remember, but yeah, no, I never thought for once that you were into guys. Never.
So she found out I had a girlfriend that day, but again, we didn't exchange like
I mean,
specifics.
also, Natalie won't tell you. When Natalie told me that she had a girlfriend, I thought her ex looked like Maya from the singer.
Maya the singer.
I was way off.
You thought Maya, maybe like the Spanish chick. I would have pictured that you probably thought she was like Santana from Glee.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
No. Yeah. No. I think we both had different pictures.
Yeah, we both.
Safe to say. Over the course of time, not over the course of time, one detail I do want to leave in is the following week, after helping a customer who happened to own the local bowling alley out, he gave us a bunch of vouchers. Free bowling, free beer. I've been getting to know Helen a little bit. We have been shooting the shit, joking around a lot. Like, she was fun to work with, right? We're having a good time. And so I remember being like, "Oh, look, I got these." I don't know if it was your birthday that day or the next day. And maybe we got the passes on Thursday and we made plans to go out Friday. But I was like, everybody's invited, like from the store. And we all made plans to go. We're gonna go bowling, get some drinks, just chill, have a good time. It was free, so why not? At the time I smoked, and I'll never forget the first time that I met Helen's ex-husband and she met my ex-girlfriend. I was standing outside the bowling alley smoking a cigarette, and I see her get out, and it was raining. This is all in like October. It all happened from August to like late October because Helen's birthday is in September. Helen gets out, and I see her walking up, but she's like kind of crying, but I didn't know what was going on. And so she walks up, and I see this dude behind her come like stomping up, and she's like, "Hi everyone, I'd like you to meet my husband." She says his name, and before she could even really finish saying what she was saying, he literally looks at her and goes, "Fuck you, Helen, go fuck yourself," and then stormed into the bowling alley. And I was like, "What the hell was that?" And my poor baby, my sweet love, started sobbing on the spot, literally sobbing. Like, just broke into tears. And I'll never forget it because I don't know why, if it was instinct, if it was nature, if it was God sending me a signal, but my only immediate thought was like, I just wrapped my arms around her. I was like, "Oh no, don't cry. It's gonna be okay." I was like, "It's okay. It's okay." And she's like, "I'm so embarrassed." And she was so upset.
I was also a little drunk.
Yes. I didn't know that at the time. She was so upset. And I remember I was hugging her and kind of like really soothing her. And I think I kissed her forehead and was wiping her tears. And I'm like, it's gonna be okay. I was like, shit happens. It's fine. And my ex also trying to comfort you and licked the side of your face.
I don't understand.
It happened. I think she was probably a little drunk too.
Probably.
There's a lot of alcohol that night. Um, and yeah, Helen went inside and you only ended up bowling for like
Yeah, we only I think we were there maybe not even an hour. We also had one of my good friends with us, and her friend, who were visiting out of town.
mhm.
Um, but he after I don't know, we were there maybe like not even an
It
hour.
had to be
He
like
was like,
20 minutes.
fine, and we left. And
She didn't want to leave either. She was crying when she had to leave too.
yeah, because I was just like I didn't want to go. I mean, I didn't want to be with them. I was not feeling it. It was my birthday. I wanted to obviously, continue partying. But that wasn't gonna happen. So
Stuff had happened. So you guys have been arguing. That's why
yeah, he had
he
gotten
came in
mad.
blazing.
He had gotten mad because I had a friend who reached out and was like, "Happy birthday." He didn't like that, so he got mad. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty stupid because he was just being an ass the whole day pretty much. And uh, I think what really just bothered me the most was the fact that I was embarrassed because it was like this was like the first time that I was actually meeting everybody. And he didn't even have like the common courtesy to just, you know, suck it up and pretend. Um
Yeah.
he was just being himself. But
I've been mad at Helen before. Helen and I have, it's no secret, we bicker. I think that's like, people laugh because we bicker, but I couldn't imagine meeting your coworkers for the first time. I don't care how mad I am. I cannot imagine meeting your coworkers and doing something like that. I just couldn't do it.
and that was the thing is like whenever I met his, coworkers, I may have not liked them or may not have wanted to be there, but I always made an effort. And that was the
you were
thing
like the
is just,
perfect wife, I'm sure.
I mean, I pretended to, where it wasn't the same with him. And so,
And I think it's important to say a few things, right? Um, because one of the other questions that Sherry asked was like, what was the transition like going from being with a man to being with a woman? Before you can answer that though, I think so our story didn't that's how our story started, right? We met. Helen and I over the course of time became good friends and it happened very fast. And I mean good friends to the point that like I did eventually meet her husband again and it was a more pleasant.
I mean, her and her girl ex
Yeah, my
would come
ex,
to my house.
we had been to your house once or twice,
We had dinner together.
slamming
We
ass
went
food.
out
Yeah,
together.
but along the way, things were happening unintentionally. Like, and this is hard because I think when people hear the story, like we've talked about cheating and we've talked about how things didn't go well. And I said on the episode with Christy a few weeks ago, I said very openly, I didn't do a lot of things right. Neither one of us intended for this to become anything romantic. I
I mean,
thought I
no.
had found a really dope ass friend.
And I always tell Natalie, um, I think for me especially was just because I had gotten burnt from who I thought was a really good friend of mine, who I would consider more than a friend.
You mean like in the terms of like family? Like you would have considered them family?
Yeah, like I mean, I
Not more
considered
than a
them.
friend in the romantic
Oh
sense.
yeah, fuck no, no, no offense, but no,
I doubt she
um,
watches.
even if she did, no. But it was really tough for me to be able to trust other females, right? Especially after that. So I never wanted to be that person that would do something like that. So I really tried. And yes, I felt things. And yes, there was, mixed feelings and mixed
Yeah,
emotions, but I did my very best to just fight them and just hold them back, and I would be brutally honest with Natalie, and I would tell her, like, listen, like, yeah, like, I have feelings for you. Like, yes, I do like you. Yes. But it's not gonna happen. Like, I'm married,
mm,
you have a girlfriend, and because to a to an extent, I considered this other person, not a friend necessarily, but somebody that I was getting to know and somebody that could potentially become a friend of mine. And the thing too was like not the attraction that was there. It went beyond physical for me. It was just I found myself being intellectually stimulated when I had conversations with Natalie. Um, Natalie is one that challenges me all the time.
bro.
If I think it's blue, why do I think it's blue? It can be blue. She's not saying that it's not blue, but why do I think it's blue? If I say the sky is white, why is it white? And she's obviously looking at it and it's white, but why? So she's always challenging me on everything. And so in a way I found that very like stimulating.
Yeah,
But that's not where I was going with this. It wasn't until, you know, her ex-girlfriend made it very clear to me that she was not my
yikes,
friend.
yikes.
And I distinctly remember that day. Because we had gone out. It was a Sunday. My ex was working. I was gonna be home alone. And there was a football game on. And a couple of people, including Natalie and her ex, were going. And I happened to know both other people that were going as well. Natalie was, gracious enough to invite me. I had asked if my ex was okay with it. He was like, yeah, go for it. I didn't think anything of it. They came, they picked me up, and while we were, eating, it was kind of like
The vibes were off.
it was very off, but it was coming from her. But I mean,
That day was rough.
even then, with her vibes being off, I wasn't really focused on that. I was more focused on the idea that, like I found somebody who liked a lot of the things that I did, even the fucking fish dip. Um,
Mm.
right? And so we were having good conversation. I wasn't worried about, what she was thinking or what she was feeling, and I think that that's really what bothered her was because I was unbothered. But I remember, you know, we finished our lunch, we finished watching the game, and we were going back home. Natalie was going to drop me off. And I remember she's the one that started the conversation. And she asked me, what did I think or how did my husband feel that I was, you know, that I had people to talk to or, or people to go out with. And I remember I said, "Oh, he's happy that I have friends." And
Famous last words.
she looked back and she was like, what? Friends?" She was like, Natalie's your friend. We're associates. And
Mhm,
I will never forget that.
mhm.
'Cause I was just like, "Oh, okay, cool." Then I was just like, "You know what? Free game." I didn't feel bad at that point because obviously she didn't consider me a friend. So I wasn't doing anything wrong in my mind. And at the same time, you know, my relationship with my ex was really not there.
Yeah.
We went to Florida as a last resort, to try and make our relationship work. Mind you, prior to me working at Metro, I had left and we were actually sort of like separated for a few months.
You were here, right? So you left Florida and came here for a few months.
Yep. I left Florida and I came here for a few months and then I went back under false pretenses that certain things were going to change. They weren't. So I really honestly I was to a point where it was just like whatever. Like it didn't matter to me anymore. And so I think that that's what allowed me to kind of open myself to the idea of maybe getting to know Natalie in a different way and just really accepting the feelings that I was having. Um,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
I wanna backtrack a little bit to that point, like, it's funny because Helen brings up this day, a couple of key things matter. Just because I feel like people are gonna watch this, we get the question. I love that we got somebody asking us questions and we get to talk about things. Cause cool. I'm an open book, right? When you make the decision to start a podcast and talk about life, that includes all aspects of it. So I'm all right with that, and I think that it's good to clear the air on a couple things because, like I said, the optics aren't great, right? When you look at it and you start matching up timelines, and I've said it before. All right, yeah, a couple of things that I think matter, right? Helen and I both, when Helen said that, we talked about the fact that we have feelings for each other, this was not an all the time conversation. In the period between when we met and when we officially like started being together or dating or whatever you want to call it, we had that conversation twice, three times. We would flirt shamelessly. I'm not going to deny that via text. We would say things that they weren't, but the thing is that it was so subtle in the beginning, like you didn't realize it was happening. What I will say is this: I was in a relationship. Anybody who knows me and who knew me back then can vouch that that relationship was not well, right? And I'm sure there are ways that I know my ex can see this clip because we have mutuals. I think that 15 years removed, my ex and I can both agree that like that relationship was not in a good place. That's not an excuse, but my biggest mistake was not leaving when I knew that things weren't going well. I remember I would come home and I'd sit in the parking lot sometimes for an hour before I'd actually go inside the house. That's not a good sign in any relationship. If I started doing that in my marriage, I'd be worried, right? Secondary to that is there are some things that are just undeniable. I think that when you meet the person you're destined to be with, there isn't a thing on this earth that's going to stop you from being with them, realistically. I met Helen. I liked Helen a lot. We had a witty banter. We flirted. We connected on a lot of things. Helen went out of her way as a friend before anything else to show me very cool treatment. And I had said to myself, like, I needed to make a decision. And I think for all intents and purposes I had. I just, again, I didn't have the balls to say it. So the third time we had a conversation was a few weeks later, and we had the opportunity to be alone and not at work or anywhere like that. I remember we went for a drive and we must have driven around for like 2 hours. I remember I just looked at you and you were like, I feel crazy. And I was like, me too, because what are we going to do? And for 2 hours, we drove around in this bubble of like, we're two people who really like each other and really want to be together, and it's not going to happen. That was like, it really is what it felt like. Like, we looked at each other, we said all the things we wanted to say, like I like you, you like me. We even, I think for a second, had that moment of like, this is what a life together could be like. I think we held hands for like a second, and then I dropped you off at home. And in my head, that dropping you off at home was that like definitively it's out there, we know it's out there, and we know that it's not gonna happen, so we're done talking about it. Like we're gonna just be really dope friends.
It was like we broke up before we even started going out.
Yeah, we just had that moment of like, we know this can't happen, so let's just have our 5 minutes of we like each other, we can make this work. Again, nothing happened beyond like the hand holding, and yes, you would call it an emotional affair. Yeah, emotionally we had that moment, and I very much charged it to the game, but in that moment I also was like, I need to end this relationship sooner rather than later with my ex. Not because I knew I was gonna pursue something with you necessarily, but because I knew that at that point, if I'm so, and I would say this to anybody, if you're in a relationship and you're at the point where you are openly willing to entertain the idea of being with someone else and openly have feelings for someone else, that's time to go. It's time to go. You should know better. It is time to go. That happens, and it just so happens that the next day
Oh yeah.
we go out, we're eating chips and shit at the football game. My ex, the more I think about it, the more I think that she must have felt like something was up because there's no other way to explain her behavior that day. And I was thinking about it when you brought up the question. And I don't know why it hadn't dawned on me in 15 years that, like, why would she ask that question if it wasn't because of that? Like, who asked that question? For what reason? So,
But I mean, that was her chance to be like, yeah. Because if I have an intuition that you are, you know, having feelings for anyone else,
you gonna stake your claim?
yeah. Even if I don't like the bitch, I'd be like, we best
Your
like
homegirls? You know,
we're
mark your territory.
homegirls. But I really don't. I mean, I don't know why she asked that question.
I genuinely, I wish I could. I
But
know you're gonna look at me crazy. I wish I could ask her because the only thing that makes sense to me is that she had a suspicion at that point.
and that's perfectly fine.
Because a few things happened, right? I broke up with her as soon as we dropped Helen off. I don't even think we made it out of the apartment complex. I just couldn't keep doing it. And I did it completely on the faith that, like, I knew I was gonna go out and do my own thing, never with the idea that Helen and I were gonna be together. I didn't, because again, she had always made it very clear, like, I'm not. And I remember being like, fuck, I just blew my life up. Like, I think that's exactly what I said to myself. And I went, my ex and I broke up. I go to our apartment, I pack a few things, and I call my safe space, my hero back then. I called my brother and my sister-in-law, and I was like, y'all, I'm caught up. I need to crash. And I think I texted you and I said I broke up with her. I don't know if I said her name or not, or I just said I broke up with her. And I think I said, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And you didn't respond for hours.
I was dealing with my own shit.
You were busy.
That's what you want to call it. I was dealing with my shit.
But yeah, that's the long and short of how we met and how we kind of ended up. Obviously, I stopped the story after that, but it wasn't like, oh, I broke up with her, we're immediately together. That's not how it went at all.
No.
No. And a lot of people think that's how it was. We did start, shortly thereafter, we did start pursuing a relationship in a sense. But that kind of feeds into the next question. So the other thing Sherry asked is, Helen was obviously with a man for a long time. What was it like for you? What was that journey of, like, coming to realize, like, okay, I have to reconcile feelings that I have for somebody who's not the same gender. I also have to accept that, like, my life is going to drastically change. And you don't like to label yourself, by the way. Like, Helen won't call herself anything. Lesbian, gay, none of that. Bisexual.
Pansexual.
Pansexual. Okay. She has
I'll
a
give
label
you
today.
that much.
She goes with the pots and the pans.
Yes. I love them. No. I mean, the type of person that I'm more attracted to someone's intellect.
Like personality.
Someone who can, make me laugh, someone who can I think someone that shows up for me. And I think that Natalie met and checked all those boxes. Natalie never just gave up as soon as things got hard. She kept going because for me it was such a roller coaster of emotions. Mind you, religion played a big part in the way that I felt. Obviously, society, things that were just very foreign to me.
Well, your upbringing.
My upbringing. So it's not like I had never been around, other lesbians. It's not like I had never been told, just lay back. It's not like I was never, told like I really like you and, I would like to, but I never imagined myself being in a relationship with another woman.
Can we clarify one thing?
What's that?
Are you willing to on air clarify this? Because I get a lot of shit about this.
What?
True or false? I am not the first girl you've kissed.
No, I mean, but kissing is nothing.
I'm not saying it's nothing or something, but there are people out there who think, like,
Natalie did not convert me into lesbianism.
I like to joke that Helen's always been, like, a little gay.
I mean, I probably
She
have.
just didn't
But
own
the
it,
thing
but
is, I mean,
she'll tell me some shit and I'm like, that's gay as hell, bro. You was out here being a whole lesbian your whole life. I'd like to give her shit.
No, I was not.
I'm
But
joking,
here's the
but
thing is, like, the reason why I don't label myself as a lesbian is because I don't sit there and think like, oh my God, like women are so beautiful. I want to, just sleep with all.
bone them all.
No, not even any of them. I very much enjoy being with my wife, obviously.
I didn't know what else
But
to do there. What do you say to that?
I mean, I don't have a physical attraction to other women. I can appreciate women as being beautiful because women are beautiful. But it's in that same where, like a straight woman, let's say, if you want to call it like that, can look at
Yeah.
another girl and go, "Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. Oh, she has such a nice body." But just things like that. But I mean, again, call me whatever you want. If it makes you feel better at night calling me a lesbian, then call me a lesbian. I don't give a shit. But anyway, that's
It
not
is
here
what it
nor there.
is.
My point is it was hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't accept myself. Because I always said, like, me with another woman, hell no. And
Hmm.
people would ask me. Matter of fact, the person that betrayed me was we were so close that people would always be like, "Oh, you guys must be," and it was like,
Whoa.
whatever. We were together. No, we weren't. Never crossed my mind in that sense. Um, Again, I was around lesbians. I had a group of like friends who were just straight up lesbians. We would go out. There was a couple that tried to hit on me. Um,
Hmm.
so I mean, one time I met some chick at a club and sort of entertained it a little bit. And when it got to the point where things were getting a little like serious, I freaked the fuck out. I started crying and I left.
Mm.
Because I was so scared. It wasn't Natalie who did do something.
We did
Maybe you didn't, you know,
done a few things.
but I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah, no.
it was hard. It was tough. It wasn't an easy journey for me. It took me many, 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 many years to be able to accept it. Um, and it was hard because obviously it wasn't fair to Natalie, but I mean, she also had
I knew what I signed
the
up for.
chance to come out at her own pace. Um, she had been through that journey already. She was already like she knew who she was and what she wanted and what she liked and what she didn't like.
Yeah.
I was still trying to find that out because it was where, okay, do I like all women because I am now with a, another person who happens to be a woman, or is it just Natalie that I like? Is it one of those things where I just want to find out what it is like and then I'm gonna dip? That
Whoa.
do I really like her and can I see myself being in a relationship with this person?
And here's the thing. Sorry to interrupt you. If you're watching this and you know me from back then, and you know us from back then, it wasn't an easy road, and I got a lot of shit just the same. And I don't say that to make Helen feel bad, but there was a lot of things that were said to me, like, "Oh, she's married. She's going to go back to men at some point." I had to counter all of that, and the thing that kept us going. And I don't know, the internet always has some shit to say. I don't really give a fuck. But the thing that kept me going was that I just knew, and I have always known, that there is something that you and I have that you don't find. I wouldn't find with another person. And I knew for me, when we were going through our shit, I just kept telling myself, it's only a matter of time before it clicks for her. Right? Some people might say that's delusional, whatever, or persistent, or I pressured you. I would like to believe that I did not. And I would like to believe that you and we had our growing pains, but I think that, like, the end goal, I always looked at Helen and what I saw was, this is a person that I could marry, this is a person I can build a with, this is a person that I can make a future with. I knew I liked you, but I also knew that I had a lot of odds stacked against me. So, like, I wasn't naive to that, and I think people think that I was just this, like, pessimistic doofus walking around going, or not pessimistic, optimistic doofus walking around like, "Everything's gonna be fine." I didn't know if things were gonna be fine or not. I had no idea. I knew I liked somebody. I loved this girl because I fell in love pretty quickly with Helen. Like, it's hard not to. And I had reconciled with the fact that regardless of how this ended, we were two people who were never going to forget each other. That was my genuine belief. And so I went into it with whatever it is what it is. And we had good times and bad times. Those first few years were insane. We went through a lot of shit. I can understand why everybody and everybody involved was angry because I think even your ex-husband probably had some feelings about it when he eventually, figured out that this was like a long-term thing. But we're here, we've survived. It would be dishonest of us to sit up on this podcast and pretend like, oh, it's beautiful. We met on a dating app. No, it was messy. Life's messy. I don't regret it. If you put me in a time machine and said go back and do it all over again, the exact same way or don't, I wouldn't change a single thing about you and I. I probably would have started this podcast a lot sooner. I probably would have gotten into the field that I'm in now a lot sooner, or I would have pursued law school like I wanted to. Things like that. I would have made different financial decision. Maybe we wouldn't have moved so much. I don't know. But then I also say like all the things that we do are to get to where we are. I think our house now is probably my favorite place we've ever lived. I mean, I miss Florida sometimes. I would be a liar if I said I didn't. But all the things that we did were to get us here, right? I don't know if I'd still be here had things not been the way they were. So I think the biggest lesson that we could take is like the journey is the journey. And so thank you, Sherry, because I think you asked great questions. I think we live a really good life together. I don't really see either one of us going somewhere. And I mean, we're going to Puerto Rico. That's about it. But I love you. Relationships are messy. Helen and I didn't get it right. I tell you.
I got it right. What do you mean? I got it right.
Well,
I
now we
don't
did.
care.
Well, you know what? You were there for me at a time when I was trying to, I was like free falling and I was trying to catch my breath and figure it out. My brother and my sister-in-law were there for me at a time when I was free falling and trying to catch my breath. And it really allowed me time. Like the other thing that did is it allowed us to really slow down. And when we actually got around to dating, what I would call dating, or when you and I started intentionally spending time
I
together with
think
a
it became
romantic
more
sense, it was
real,
more meaningful.
and I think that for you and I, it became more real when I actually moved out
Yeah.
and I moved in with you.
I knew how I felt about you and I never lied to you about that. But yeah, that's really the long and short of it. That's how we met. That's how Helen dealt with that. And there's a lot more that we could go into, but it would probably take a couple episodes. I would love to do an episode just around like your coming out journey. I hate to say coming out, but I guess. Right. But in the meantime, thank you for sending that in, Sherry. That was a great topic. It's a really good conversation to have. People are going to have a lot of shit to say and I'm okay with that. Drop it all in the comments, whether it's YouTube or Instagram, and we can have further conversations. And if you are curious about something, you have a follow-up question, comment, or concern, jump in our DMs just like Sherry did. And look, we'll talk about it on the show. Helen, where can the people find you?
On Instagram at what the that's WTHELEN. So what the Helen, and then in TikTok is what the Helen spelled out 82. So that's WHATHEHELEN.
You forgot. You added an extra HE.
I didn't. Well, what?
WHATTHEL THEHELEN 82. What the Helen 82 spelled out on TikTok.
Yep. How about you?
You can find me at nguzzy. That is at NGUZZY. That is my Instagram. That's where I'm really active. Again, I'm going to spend another week begging y'all. Please come interact with us on Instagram. Hit us with a like, hit us with a share, hit us with a follow. We would really appreciate it. Comment on our post. The algorithm loves that. It eats it up. You can find me on TikTok. My personal page is at Hey It's Guzzy. HEYITSGUZZY at Hey It's Guzzy on TikTok. You can find the podcast at Friends Like Mine Pod on TikTok, at Friends Like Mine Pod on Instagram, at FLM_pod on X. We do not post on there at all right now. We're going to try and build that back up. But realistically, I'll probably just join threads instead. And you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Again, it is Friends Like Mine Podcast on YouTube. We post clips everywhere. If you want to follow our family TikTok page, we're getting ready to launch that. We're going to be doing a lot of vlogs and daily content when we're in Puerto Rico. That is Guzzy, GUZZY.fam, F-A-M, Guzzy.fam. We really appreciate the love we've seen so far. The numbers don't lie. Y'all are enjoying it. We're starting to see a lot of growth. Thank you and welcome to our new subscribers. We promise to keep bringing you great episodes. We have a really, really, really big, super fun, exciting interview coming first week of May. Somebody who I hope y'all are going to like. It's going to be sort of a different dynamic for this interview, but I'm so excited to do it. And I think it's going to be really a good watch.
Yeah.
So keep on the lookout for that. Again, if you are so inclined or want to learn more, Helen is on the search for a kidney donor. We've talked about paired exchange, so blood type doesn't necessarily matter, but it does help if you are type B positive blood. If you want to find more information about that, you can go to my Instagram or Helen's. We have pretty much every other post. You'll see a picture of Helen and it's got all the information you need, her name and her date of birth. The website is mghlivingdonors.org. That is mghlivingdonors.org. Helen Guzman, her date of birth is on our Instagram. You can find it there. Thank you all for liking, sharing, commenting, and reposting her story as well. We feel it. We appreciate y'all. It's okay if you can't donate. Send a prayer our way. Make sure that you keep us in our prayer. Make sure that you keep Helen in our prayer. Breathe life into her. Continue to believe because God will make a way.
Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. If you're interested in picking up some fly gear, you can head over to nimodo.co/FLM and you can put that code in and get yourself a nice little discount on some fly ass streetwear. Again, my hoodie's coming. I cannot wait. If you're interested in checking out therapy, want to see and feel what therapy can do for you. You know, we're big advocates of that. We're really trying to get our community to embrace therapy in a way that they haven't before. You can also get that link in our bio, get $80 off your first month at Talkspace, whether you have insurance or not, get you hooked up with a licensed mental health professional. Okay.
Mhm.
Full disclosure, if you do use our link, we'd appreciate it. Your girls get enough to buy themselves a little cup of coffee and keep the lights on in the studio. So we thank you in advance for hitting that link if you so need to. It is completely anonymous, so we will not know who clicked it or who signed up. You know, it's done by click. Same thing with Nimodo. If you happen to pick up a hoodie, a t-shirt, a beanie, whatever, they have great stuff. Just keep in mind, we get a little bit off the top for that as affiliates, but it is a brand that I'm very selective in the brands that we choose to partner with. It's just been two so far, Nimodo and, Talkspace. Again, we thank you all every week for tuning in. Thank you for the love. Thank you for everything.
Yeah. Thank you for
Hit
the
the group
support.
chat. Tell us what you want to hear. We're here to do it. We'll talk about it. And yeah, have a great week, everyone. It's always a good time chatting with friends, and we'll see you on the next episode of Friends Like Mine.
Bye.
Bye.